Today's guest is Janet Leigh Scott, a luxury real estate expert on Martha's Vineyard who's built a standout business helping clients find their dream homes on island.
I'm a negotiator by profession. That was what I did in my corporate role.
After leaving a successful corporate career, she made a leap into real estate and never looked back.
I don't believe in retirement.
Closing over 80 deals and earning a reputation for trust, style, and top-tier service. In this episode, she shares her journey, what it really takes to succeed in real estate on island, and the advice she has for young people who want to build something of their own. Right here on Martha's Vineyard. Let's hear what she has to say. So I'm here with Janet Leigh Scott from EXP Realty. I definitely want you guys to hear what she has to say today. Nice to meet you, Janet.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Thanks for making it on MVFounders. So this is another episode of MVFounders. I hope you guys love what Janet has to say. Very inspirational, and let's get into it. So what brought you to Martha's Vineyard, and when did you know this place was going to be home?
That's a good question. I read a book when I first moved here. I was in a corporate role with Staples, moved to Massachusetts, and I read a book called Up Island by an author, Ann Rivers Sighton. I still have the book. And it's about a lady from Atlanta, and I'm from Virginia, who ends up coming to Martha's Vineyard to take care of a family member. And the way that it was written, it was absolutely so clear that when I first came to the vineyard, it was exactly what I thought it was going to be, and I knew right then this is where I was going to live.
Wow.
A book.
From a book. That's actually very cool. And because I read a lot of books myself, so it's really cool when you can see like a book shaped like your entire life.
Yeah.
But tell me about your involvement in real estate. Like, how did you get into real estate, and was it like difficult to get into?
So the background of it is I've always been in corporate America, and I'd lived in various places around the country and had bought and sold properties in each of those spots, including when I was in Boston. And I worked for Staples, and we had always known we would live here, not to retire. I don't believe in retirement, but that this would be a nice place for us to live, afterwards. Anyway, so we bought our house, and in 2013 decided to stay here all the time, and I decided that what I wanted to do, what I had done in the past, which was buying, sell homes around the country, that I would do it here. Really? Yes. And I got my license, and that was in 2013. And for me, I'm a negotiator by profession. That was what I did in my corporate role.
Sales.
Yeah.
Always doing sales.
Always doing sales.
Always closing.
Always closing. Where's my pen?
That is very cool. So it's like one thing I looked up about you, it's before you really got into real estate, you were doing corporate, you were working in the corporate field, right?
Yes.
So it's like, how did you make that leap from just being in full business corporate and to just transferring that to real estate? How did you do that?
So luckily a lot of skills that I had transferred. So a lot of the things that I had been doing, I'm a Lean Six Sigma black belt, I'm an MBA, all of these things worked well when I brought them over into real estate. I prefer to, there's a saying, and it's called, it's all about the numbers, everything else is an opinion.
Whoa, okay. All right, that one, you got me.
Okay, I'm a numbers gal, and so working with my clients, I would break down and do analysis for them to try to take the emotion out of I'm in love with this house to, okay, I'm in love with this house, how does that compare? What are my ROI goals? Do I want to rent this in the summer? So it became really more of understanding what their needs are and then playing into that. So it was actually, my old skills dovetailed very easily into what I was doing in real estate.
Wow. Can you remember your first real estate deal?
I certainly do.
And also, so first, before we get into that, so I want you to remember your first real estate deal, and I really want you to tell me what lessons you pulled from that.
Okay.
Right.
So my first real estate deal, this is a fun one. I was working for a broker, and he was out of the country with his daughter.
Wow.
And I pick up the phone, and this gentleman said, "We own a property in Chilmark. We want to move to Edgartown." And
Wow.
so I said, okay. And so I got some details, went out and met them. Really, like, such a super couple. I love them so much. And so we found the right property for them.
Yeah.
It was in Edgartown. And but what was interesting is that when I went to pull documents to write the purchase and sale,
Yeah.
I found them at the broker office, but they really had not been updated, so that when I'm looking at the date, it would have like a space for the date, right? Like today, June 20th,
Yes.
comma, and then it had 19 blank. He had not. We're in 2014, and he has not gotten new forms to show the year 2000.
Well, how did you even pick up on that though so fast?
Well, I looked at it and I'm like, oh, geez. So, so that was one of the lessons learned, is that now I work with a company where we have all sorts of forms, and everything is updated as it should be. Other lessons learned from that experience is because they ended up buying a very expensive home,
Yeah.
was to not let the price of the home interfere or scare me or intimidate me.
Wow.
And I had to put back on that corporate hat, because when I had worked in corporate America, I was dealing with what we call C-suite people, CEO, CIO, all of these people doing what we were doing at Staples.
Interesting.
And so I just had to go back and put that, you've dealt with these folks before. They put their pants on one day at a time.
Wow.
Just keep it very focused, very much about the numbers, and let them get there. And that was pretty much. And then I also learned one other thing. I have a negative sense of direction, and I had to drive all over. Every time we would do house tours, I'd have to go the day before.
That's actually insane. I'm not good at directions myself either. But tell me something though. When it comes on to just doing real estate elsewhere besides the Vineyard,
Yep.
what are the key differences do you see yourself, and what are some of the things that you say Martha's Vineyard has as an advantage over another market?
So there's pros and cons. Because we are on an island, we have limited transactions every year, and that's just because you have limited surface to sell. And then off island, obviously, it's a much broader opportunity for anybody. They're all over towns. I have tons of friends that are agents off island. That's just a difference. One of the things that makes it really easy here is that once you figure out directions, which I finally did, you're on an island. Where you're going to be driving or taking people or visiting or whatever you're doing, it's so much easier. We get caught up in the traffic down here in the summer, but I've lived near Boston. That's traffic.
I know, that's very, Boston is crazy.
That's traffic.
When I go to Boston, man, it's like you just can forget about whatever you have else to do,
Yeah.
Yeah, just forget about it.
Yeah, and the other thing is, most of the clients that I work with, I've sold first-time homeowners, and I love it. That's my favorite, but it's right now, because of the prices of the homes, it's not as, it's a little bit on hold. I think it'll come back, but I'm dealing with second and third home buyers. And
So luxury people.
it's a luxury, very much a luxury.
No, I see that, because one of the things that I looked into when I was just doing a lot of research on you, it's your main focus right now, you've seen that it's just luxury.
Yep.
Luxury houses, because what has been the difference for you to be like, okay, I'm only going to niche down to luxury home?
Well, I think part of it, whenever you start out in real estate, the most
Yes.
important thing that you have is this:
Your phone.
this is your database.
Right.
These are your contacts.
Clients.
These are your sphere of influence. It's all here.
Yeah.
You don't have to go hunt. You don't have to buy lists from somebody. The bulk of your business can be generated from who you know in your phone.
Wow.
And you need to have what we call a CRM.
Yes.
That will help you download, and then you can identify these people and their friends and their family and their prior sales, and then that helps you develop a way of communicating with them.
So you're using like a CRM to track customer data, and do you use it to like retarget retarget people and stuff?
Yeah.
Yo, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So it's like you practically built like an empire. So what's one of the main things that feel like you've done here to generate leads, especially when it comes on to growing your real estate portfolio and people you have been like selling to and serving? What's one of the main ways you've used to generate leads?
So interesting enough, when I started back 2013, Zillow was just starting.
Wow.
And so my second sale came from Zillow.
Your second sale came from, tell us about that, like how?
Well, I was getting ready to go into a meeting. I get a call, and of course, if it's Zillow, you answer it, and this person asked me about this particular house that I had just shown to the folks that bought a different house. And I said, "Oh, that house is gorgeous. All you need is your toothbrush." I said, "It has literally the most beautiful kitchen countertops I have ever seen in my life." And so by at that point, then by knowing, and I go on broker tours because you have got to know the inventory. You need to know if that property looks better in person.
Yes.
Or the pictures don't do it justice.
Really?
Yes. So you have to be aware of that's your job. So with this person, we met, and he didn't buy that house, but he and his wife bought a different house. But no, the most important thing we have to do every day is understand what's going on with your market, understand what's come on market, what's new, what's going under agreement, what has a price change. You need to then go, like before I was meeting you, I went to see an open house on Oakdale in Edgartown. And it was a beautiful home, and it gave me a better sense because it was built in the 50s. It's beautifully redone, but it gave me a better sense when I send it to somebody of the flow of the house. You have to do this. You never know when you're an agent who's going to call you about that house that you saw on broker tour.
Wow. So all right. So when you get a lead now, say you get a client, what's the journey are you taking that person through to get them to say, okay, I'm going to get them to close on this house?
Well, so part of it is, if you can't meet face to face, Zoom is great. But you want to understand what would make them happy. What are they looking for? What is that, what would really excite them about a house?
Key components.
And you want to know, a lot of them have specific towns they prefer to be in. So, okay, you kind of narrow it down to that. Do they want, how many beds and baths? Do they need a garage? So you just understand what are the amenities they want to have with that house. I have actually sold homes to people that they've never seen.
They've never seen. So it's like that would have to be at least a third home buyer.
Well, it was somebody he'd bought and sold a lot of property, and he had come here, and we had looked and put offers on a couple, and it didn't happen. And I went into this one house, and I came out, and I texted him. I said, I'm going to my office right now. I'm writing up an offer on this house. And he calls me, he goes, which house is it? I said, well, you haven't seen it. He goes, I'm buying a house I haven't seen. I said, yep, you are. I'll send you the contract.
But that means it's the level of trust that he would have in his realtor, which would be like you. So what do you use to develop these level of trust? Like, how are you developing, how do you get somebody to trust you that much?
Well, they we'd spent a lot of time together. I knew what he needed. He needed because he had some hip issues, he needed a primary bedroom on the main level. He also had a daughter with 2 granddaughters that liked to come and spend large chunks of time with him.
Wow.
I went into this house, open concept, huge kitchen, dining area, primary, beautiful, expansive bathroom on the main level.
Yeah.
You go up this beautiful stairway, and sure enough, there were 3 more bedrooms, a connecting bath for the 2 granddaughters, and another bath for the parents. It was his house.
So you had a relationship with him before. You have to develop a relationship with him before so that you can understand what he actually wants, right?
Yep.
Wow.
That's helpful. Now, the first house the first house I sold sight unseen. I get a phone call, and I'm sorry, I get an email.
Really?
An email. I get an email about this house in Aquina. Now, I happen to know, that house he looked at, I said, you don't want this house because it has, each of the towns can have different property, like you could have easements and things like that. You want to know about it. On this house, the easement ran right to the other house for a parking lot. This easement ran right through his backyard. And I said, that's not what you want. You do not want an easement in your backyard. So I said, and this...
Wait, what's an easement?
An easement is when it's deeded, when, let's say you've been using this one driveway since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
Okay? However, it's not your property. And so over time, you can have it as a prescriptive easement. So just there's a lot of stuff, you don't need to know all that, nor do your viewers. My gosh, if I got into what the real estate school is like, you would just
Very
like be going to sleep. Yeah,
that is actually cool.
So anyway, but now I know he wants to live in Aquina. We haven't spoken.
Really?
He wants a house in Aquina. He'd love to have it close to the beach. I know this house because I went to the open house.
Yeah, concept.
I went to the broker tour. I went to the house. I looked at it, and it went under agreement because it was a great house, and you could see the ocean. It was beautiful, and then it fell out of agreement, and I found out why. And it fell out of agreement because they did a home inspection, and it was on pilings, because when you're close to the beach, a lot of houses are on pilings, and there were cracks in the pilings. And the buyers walked away because they didn't want to deal with what it would take to fix it.
So those things affect a person's decision?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I emailed my client. I said, here's the deal. It's got cracks in the foundation. It was on for this is years ago, $950,000. I said, I'd go in at $600, no contingencies. He goes, that's exactly what I was thinking. This man got that house because his brother had been in construction on the Vineyard for 15 years. Repairing those pilings was nothing. He got that house for $615,000.
Steal.
And he calls me, he goes, who are you? Who are you? My husband was in the room. He says, we've never spoken, and you just got me the house of my dreams. So then he flies in. He had a plane. He and his dad fly in from New Jersey. I'm like a kid in a candy store. I can't wait to show him the house because there's really nothing wrong with it other than you want to shore up these pilings. And we pull in, and of course his brain has now decided that the house is tipping over and falling. And he looks at me and he goes, is this the house I want? I thought you'd like it.
Yo, that is very cool. So that sounds like a lot of lessons you just stockpiled over the years, right? And right now, just hearing all these experiences, if you should give somebody an advice, somebody that's just starting in real estate, right? Based on what you've learned and the lessons that you've gotten from when you started, what could you tell that person?
Well, so in the brokerage I am with, EXP, I am what is called a certified mentor. And right now I've got 3 mentees that I'm working with. I'm lucky in my organization that we have training that is recorded that each of these agents can go and listen to.
Really?
And the trainings are not done by somebody that teaches you in real estate school. The trainings are done by, you have to reach an icon level at EXP to be able to teach the training. So you're getting trained by people that are superstars, and they unlock every single thing for you to do.
So that would basically fast track a new person's
I like that because the actual name of the program is FastCap.
Wow. So say for instance, I'm just starting out in real estate. Me going through that program how many years do you think it would give me as an advantage over somebody who doesn't know that exists?
Oh, you would be 2 years ahead of anybody else.
Wow.
Because they really they go into detail about what to do. And this is such a perfect example. You get your real estate license, you go to 40 hours of school, you get your license, now what? Well, I was lucky because I had been in a corporate role. I just sort of had an idea of what to do. Most people don't.
Wow.
And so
how do people find that program? How would you even find a program like that?
Well, the EXP has it, my brokerage.
EXP. What's your brokerage?
It's that's the name, EXP Realty.
EXP Realty. So
it's on NASDAQ, EXPI.
Yep.
And
so we're gonna put this in the description so people can opt in if they basically want, right? So
yeah,
I'll leave it down for you guys. So whoever is actually doing real estate, that could basically shave 2 years off your experience and give you the opportunity to just meet and talk to people like Janet right here, which would just, because if I'm doing anything, I just want to meat somebody who's like 10 years ahead of me.
Yep.
Right, that's it.
It's like anything. You always want to play tennis with a better player.
Wow, that's actually very, very interesting. So it's like, if you should, say for instance, now at the level you're at right now and getting started in luxury, focusing on luxury, right? What's something that you wish somebody had just told you that would just give you like another advantage when you just getting started in just luxury real estate?
That's another really, really interesting question. What you're going to do if that's the niche you want to be in, you really are going to have to understand who your sphere is, who your database is, because those are the people that are going to take you into that business. So you nurture them. So, for example, everybody knows somebody. Everybody. Right? Yeah. So if you're talking to your friends, friends and family, you're putting it out there on CRM that you are posting luxury images, you're doing squeeze pages of luxury images. Yeah. You want to understand and be confident, because it's so easy to lose your confidence when people are buying multi-million-dollar homes. It really is. And you have to, work on that, because how you present yourself is everything. We know that in life, perception's reality. If they see you and shake my hand. I got a handshake.
Yeah, I know. You're very firm handshake.
I have a very strong handshake, because you want to really...
Do those things play a part in how people perceive and look at you?
Yeah. And then you have to do other things, like if you want to follow up with people. If people reach out to you for anything, you want to follow up immediately. Speed. And that's how I was trained at Staples. So for me, it's second nature. It was nothing to learn. I knew from my world there that, speed of response was important, and if you didn't...
Success loves speed.
Yeah.
I've heard that before. Do you believe in these concepts? Like if I say success like speed?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's like a Gen Z concept,
No, it's like the whole thing is when they say you are the 5 people you surround yourself with.
Facts.
You
very
really
true.
are.
I hear these comments, and that's very true. Like I would hear like a statement like this, and some people, they just they just take it so lightly, because you hear these quotes and like you would see them on like Instagram or something, and it's just like these things, it sounds corny, it sounds just like, oh yeah, like cliche and whatever, but it's so facts.
Well, it's
because if I see a group of people, I know that the friend has some traits of that next friend.
Oh yeah, it's common
Insane.
sense.
Very
Distilled
very
into your point, cliches. It's just taking what's really common sense and wrapping it so you can remember it.
Wow. So how do you want people to remember you? Say for instance, when it comes onto like a business, or you just close the deal, or with a family, what's the feeling you would want a person to have after just going through your process, from them not having a home to now having one?
I usually warn my clients about this.
Yeah.
I ask them if their friend card is full, because I usually
You want to be friends?
we usually become friends.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, because going through this, you get to know people.
Yeah.
It's all of a sudden now you're in the trenches with them, and
for sure.
and you're helping them
Dealing with personal
navigate
problems
this
and
whole
stuff.
thing, and you get to know them on a different level than just like selling a house. And so, yeah, I tell people we'll probably become, it doesn't mean we're hanging out buddies every Friday night. It just means that, we're going to meet for dinners or things like that. I also hope that everybody that I deal with, whether it's my clients or the other agent, that they feel that I acted professionally across the board, and, ethically. Those are very important words for me.
Wow.
Very important. I have to be very ethical in what I do.
Just take everybody serious. I love this, and I just love your attitude towards this, and how you basically just want people to see you. So I love when you said perception is everything, and how you've basically looked at it from your perspective, where you're like, okay, I want people to remember me for this. How do you translate that type of thinking? What do you do to let somebody feel like, okay, we're friends now? What do you do to make a person feel like that?
And it can vary. It will vary with each and every person that I deal with. I want them to know that them being happy with this decision I want them to really feel like they've made the right decision. They got there themselves. I'm an assistant. I'm there. I'm the Sherpa. I'm there to carry the heavy load.
Yeah.
And that they actually, love the property that they're in, because they chose it. It was something they chose for their family, for their legacy.
All right, so this might be very specific though. So I saw on your website where you said staging makes a huge difference. What does that mean?
Okay, I'll drill it down.
Yeah.
When you go into a house that's messy, what's your perception?
I think bad about the people.
Yeah, they're not taking care of their house. That's why I'm not letting you into my house.
To be honest,
I've been too busy.
I judge the person. Like I would like, and I don't even want to be like that, but like I would, if I go somewhere or if I go in somebody's car and it's messed up, I'm just judging them,
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm very fake with it though, because I would be like, oh yeah, like it's all good over here, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah. So staging is when, so two things about staging that I think are very important. Number one, you want to create a neutral palette. And a neutral palette means take down all your family photos. And there's a big reason for that, because a lot of your family photos will have pictures of children.
Okay.
Take them all down.
Why is that important?
You never know who is a listing agent or a buyer's agent. You do not know who you're bringing in.
So explain that now. So say for instance, I'm in the real estate world and a listing agent and a buyer's agent. What is the difference when these two people come to look at like a property?
So I represent the seller, which means my fiduciary responsibility is to them, not to me. My job is to get them the most money, not me.
Okay.
And as a buyer agent, it's the same thing. I'm their fiduciary. I'm there to make sure they get the best deal, the best money, the best deal for the least amount of money.
Okay.
So we're working. Seller agent represents seller, buyer agent represents buyer, and yet it's what I would call cooperation. Mm-hmm. I've got a house, you've got a client, you've got a house, I've got a client. So each of us have to work synergetically to get this together while still honoring our responsibilities to both, to our respective parties.
So, a lot of games playing right there.
Yeah.
So on each end, right? Say for instance, a buyer's agent and a seller's agent, and what would make a person have the highest leverage?
Depends. That's a loaded question. There's so many answers. You know, it depends on, that one really is sort of a case dependent.
Yeah.
If I'm working with somebody and they've fallen in love with the property.
Okay.
And we have found out that there's several other people that are in love with the property.
Okay, that would influence the price.
So I'm going to go in with them, and as we negotiate and figure out what we want to come into with an offer price, and I try to explain to them an offer is not just the price. The offer are the contingencies you put in it.
Yeah.
And the less contingencies, the more attractive. So you could actually have a situation where one buyer came in with a higher price, but more contingencies, and another buyer came in with a slightly lower price, but fewer contingencies, and the seller picks that person. It's not always the highest price.
Okay. All right. So I can tell. Well, that's actually very, very, very interesting, because some people would always be thinking that, okay, the price is what would influence a person, but it's always the contingencies and like the rules behind
Package.
it. I mean, that's very, very cool. Well, that wraps that up. And as I said, the leverage question was very cool. And like when I saw the thing about staging on your website, I'm like, I definitely have to ask.
Oh yeah, no, you want to make a neutral palette. What you're wanting to do.
Yep.
And I work with my sellers. You want the person that's walking in the door to see their stuff, not your stuff. So you have to declutter, put things away. You're moving anyway, so go ahead and get ready for it. You know, pack it up, get it all boxed up, store it. But you want that to be the most neutral palette possible, because the person coming in will see their things.
Well, that is very cool. That's a tip you guys should actually listen to from doing real estate. But I just want one more thing before we go here. So it's like, if you could leave one message for somebody who you know for a fact will be doing the same thing that you're doing right now on a higher level, if you could leave one message with them right now, what would that be?
So my message would be, understand real estate in the last 3 years has made a lot of changes. And the way that you did business in the past is not going to be the way you do it in the future.
Wow.
It's really, really difficult to you cannot get held up in this is the way we do things because this is the way we've always done things, because that mentality is being replaced.
Yes.
So I would tell anybody new, number one, you've got to go through training. It's imperative. You need to hang with seasoned agents. Professional agents. And
how do you get into a group like that, though? How do you get into a professional group?
Well, there's a lot of different ways. We are part of the Realtor Association, and then we have different gatherings. But typically, like, I have this huge company that I work for, so I can go in about anything, whether it's luxury, whether it's mortgages, whatever, and be able to get into a group and talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you wanna work with a group of people that you're comfortable with, that support you, because that's key. Usually people in real estate last 1 year.
Wow. Well,
because it sounds easy. and it's not.
It's just not until you actually start doing it.
Exactly. It's a lot of things.
Well, thanks a lot, Janet. It was very nice to meet you. And she wasn't kidding about the handshake.
My father taught me that. He said, do not give anybody this. He goes, give them a handshake. And I mean, as a young person, I learned that.
Well, I hope you guys like this episode. Nice to meet Janet Leigh Scott. Insane. And I really hope if you're starting out in like real estate, you can learn something from this, because believe me, this could fast track whatever you're actually doing right now. But I'll see you in the next one.